Nostana Anna Maria. Anna Maria.
So this oil is the eucalyptus oil, and you can now tune into the oil by doing the same ritual that we did in the first oil with the peppermint video. So the invocation of the oil is very important, so I want you to take time to do that right now. So as you do that, you can even watch the first video over again, the first part of the video, and do a invocation of the oil with the eucalyptus. So take your time with that, and I'll see you in a little. So before we start to dive deep into the eucalyptus oil, I really want to talk about more of the Myrrhophores and who they were and where they came from. So the Myrrhophores were a group, a circle of sisterhood, priestess circle, if you will, that were initiated into what they called at the time the celestial medicine. And the celestial medicine is really having to do in connection with the planetary alignment. So even choosing the plant during the planetary alignment was very important for the oil. Now, I'm not certain if that is happening today, but because we are so evolved now, and they were also evolved back then, but we are now in an ascension period of time, and that during that time they were in a descension period of time. So in their descension period of time, they had to create tools and all kinds of alchemical substances to assist their spiritual journey. And this is really how the essential oils were discovered, because there was a calling to the plant. The plant was calling upon the sisters to use them in a way to heal others and heal themselves as well, but mostly to heal others. So this is why it's really important to learn how to heal yourself so that you may be able to empathize to heal others. And the empathy in this, in being a Myrrhophore, is just as important as knowing the wisdom. And we'll go through more of that. And learning to be empathetic is really coming from a place of your childhood. So a Myrrhophore is a woman or priestess, a being who is connected to the earth and the cosmos. And the origin of the word Myrrhophore is really an English term, but what they used to say in Coptic, they would call a woman who would bear myrrh. And this is basically what some people call a myrrh bearer. And myrrh is of course an herb, but also what can turn into an oil. And so myrrh is one of the more famous oils of all of the oils, and that is because it was used with the transition of allowing for people to go onto the other side. So they would go onto the other side of the veil, or what some people call death, or heaven, earth to heaven. So these Myrrhophores, priestesses, shaman women, they were the daughters of other shaman women. And so it was taught for many years through the lineages of the people, of the daughters. And those that had their hands on the oils, they were not of a poor family, because the oils were quite expensive. And then of course there were more expensive oils, but when using oils like frankincense, myrrh, spikenard, these oils were quite expensive. And having those oils meant not only were you
wealthy, but you were of a high priestess. So Myrrhophore is a woman that holds the gateways to earth, to the cosmos. She allowed for the energy of the earth and the cosmos to become one. And this is why it is so important to have these rituals before you start using the oils. And you can simply do it just the once a day, using all of the oils, putting them in front of you, praying in front of them, and connecting to them, meditating. And this way, you don't have to do it more than once. But it is important to connect to them this way because the oils are sacred. So you always have to remember that the oils are sacred, and the way you use them is a sacred ceremony. So their primary healing work or healing attribute is for the oil to allow for the being who's being touched by them to enter higher realms. So it's not just on the physical form. And you don't have to explain that to other people, just as long as you yourself know. And allow for them to have the experience without you telling them, unless they ask you. And the asking could simply be by them saying, well, what will this do for me? And then you can tell them, but let it be robust and explain to them the spiritual aspect of the oil. So this work was taught as soon as a woman reached puberty. So as soon as she reached puberty and she started her menstrual cycle, this is when she was taught, and she was sent to the temples of Egypt. And Mary Magdalene herself was sent to the temples of Egypt during her puberty. And when she started to actually bleed during that time when she entered the temple. And when she entered the temple, she was initiated by by Mother Mary and her sisters, not her biological sisters, but her sisterhood. And you'll see when you read my book, it will go deeper into the story. But I wanted to give you that vision so that you can visualize you yourself going back to that time when you were about to hit puberty and being embraced by your sisters and initiated into this sisterhood, the sisterhood of the rose, by using the oils, singing hymns, laying their hands on you with light, praising you. You would have a halo of flowers around your head. They would throw red rose petals at your feet. It was to bleed the red blood from the womb was a very important initiation for the sisterhood at that time. And we've lost touch with this culture of truly understanding how important it is for a woman to start bleeding. And it's not just the first time, it's every time. So sisters, when you do start to bleed, use the oils. Use the oils to comfort you. Use the oils to allow for you to have a earthly and cosmic experience. So I want to ensure the men that are taking this course that there were men that were mare bearers. And it was a bit secretive because they were initiated through through their mother, and it was taught to them through their mother. And these men were quite balanced men. They were masters and of their own selves. They were the unusual kind of man because they had that inner balance of feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine within themselves. So the man that has registered to this program is quite special. And so who would it be? Like Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea are the famous mare bearers. But there were, I'm sure, quite more that we don't know of. But at this time, this is the only two that we know of. And they were quite amazing beings. Joseph of Arimathea was a master of many things. And his work was so important, as well as Nicodemus, when Yeshua needed to resurrect. They assisted the female mare bearers, the priestesses. So they in themselves were priests of the oils. And then, of course, there was Salome, which was the sister of Yeshua, Joanna of Chusa, Susanna, Martha of Bethany, which is Mary Magdalene's sister, Mother Mary herself, Mary, wife of Cleopas, and then and there were many others. It's just they were just not mentioned in the Bible. So I don't want the male to feel like, well, there's such an important ritual here with the females. There is an important role for the male to be a myrrh bearer, and that is to hold the energy of the divine masculine. And it was important for the time of Jesus' resurrection for Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea to be present in that ceremony of anointing Jesus before his resurrection. And if the male here, you're being called to do this program, it's most likely a calling because you have done it in the past. And there's a brewing of understanding the connection of the oils again, and of course the connection of the female, and connection to reconnect to the mother energy. And you're probably wondering when I'm saying this is that why do I need to reconnect to the mother energy? I feel already connected. But there's a much deeper connection into the deeper womb connection. And it's hard to put into words exactly what I'm saying here, but when we are in the womb, that container, we are being held to grow, to have life. And if you are being called to do this work, you are being called to be reborn again and to connect to the mother's womb, to her blood, to her the energy of being held. So you are longing to be held. So I want you all to take a moment right now and to just hold yourself. Just hold yourself. Take a deep breath and exhale. And just hold that child in you. Hold the baby in you. Go as far back as you want. Go as far back as being a embryo, by being just a thought or a seed of the imagination of your parents having a child. Or go back to source. Of source, knowing that you are to be born. And breathe through. Breathe through all of the anxiety, any pain in your heart, any pain in your body. Release it through your breath. Take deeper breaths into the belly. Release. Really breathe this through and hold yourself. Move around your hands, squeeze tighter. Let any thoughts come through, visions perhaps of your childhood, or any visions that you have. Note them so that you may jot them down in your journal. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. And I want you now to take the oil, the eucalyptus oil. Of course, open your eyes. And I want you to take a sniff. Hold it within your body. Release it. I want you to do it again. And let the energy out of your palms. You may be called to sway, to hum. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. nam yaram arayam o yaram o yaram ayam Om Yam Ayam. Feeling very, very emotional at this time. I'm being brought back to that time, being with all of you. Take this time to meditate. The deeper we go into this program, day by day, the deeper we shall go within. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to meditate and I will be back. Once we're back, you just never know what you're going to get. This whole program is done spontaneously and I choose not to do it that way. I choose to do it that way because I want everything to come directly from source. I don't plan anything. So I allow for the energy and the wisdom and everything to just happen spontaneously. So let's go back to eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is the oil that I call the breathing oil. And the reason why I call it the breathing oil is because it helps you breathe. It helps you breathe better, deeper, and it's an antibacterial, so antimicrobe. So it actually helps internally the lungs. It's also an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It relieves pain as well. So it has a lot of elements that the peppermint has, but this one is better for a feeling of exhilaration. So peppermint is more of joy and happiness, and this one's like, oh, I feel like it's a breathing. Exhilaration is the root word of exhaling. So there's more of like a deepness of a deeper breath. And so this oil, eucalyptus oil, comes from Australia. I believe it's from Tasmania, and now it's everywhere, of course. But that is the origin. And the way you can use eucalyptus oil, the best way to use it is when you have a cough. So you can use a base oil, again, using sesame oil, coconut oil, jojoba oil. These are the great bases that I love to use. And these oils, when you rub with the base oil, the eucalyptus, you can spread it on the back. You can actually don't even have to spread it in the front. You can spread in the back, but if it's a very heavy cough, you can spread in the front. It's also good for your allergies, so you can place it right here. Again, just one drop. And make sure that you spread it really good because you don't want it to go into your eyes. It's very good for the common cold. It's an amazing remedy for children that are having a hard time sleeping. And it's similar to lavender in that way. But so the reason why it's not similar as peppermint, because peppermint wakes you up, and eucalyptus, it soothes you. It puts you in a state of relaxation. And again, it's all about the breath. It's all about the breath. So if there's any congestion in your breath, or if you feel like you're not breathing deep enough in your meditations, or you have anxiety, eucalyptus oil is amazing. Again, putting it on your back, or you can place one drop right here, right above your thyroid gland, and so that's really good. Let me think, what else? You can always use aromatherapy with eucalyptus oil. You can also use it for allergies. So this is where I put it. When you want to use it for allergies, you put it behind your ears. Just one drop, not one drop each. One drop, put it behind your ears. You have some glands here that will help you with the allergies. And so this also helps you with headaches, and it can help you with earaches. Again, if you use this for your earaches, I suggest you just put it inside the ear. One drop right here. So it's close enough to the internal ear, but not exactly in the ear. This eucalyptus oil boosts your mental clarity. So you can put one drop on right here on your third eye. Of course, it shouldn't be a full drop. You can literally just touch the top really quickly. You already have oil on it. Do this, and then simply place it here. Done. It doesn't have to be long, and you just don't want the oil to go into your eyes. I'm looking at some of my notes, but I gave you most of the tricks here, but what's most important is that you use this oil to connect, to breathe deeper. So remember, this is the breathing oil. And this is why I believe it was important for us to use this one for the breath work for the inner child. Again, it wasn't planned; it just happened that way. But this is what the oil does to us. It activates something within our soul and allows for whatever healing needs to come through. And now I know why the eucalyptus oil was needed for this program. And she's very friendly. She can work with anyone, and most people love the scent of eucalyptus. If you go to spas, they always put eucalyptus oil in the spas, and it's a strong oil. It's a strong scent. So you have to meet her. You have to meet her strength. So that's what she wants. Exactly, that's what she wants. She wants you to meet her strength. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling like you're not in your fullest potential, if you're feeling like you're not meeting your higher self, let the eucalyptus oil bring you higher so that you can meet her in her strength. And the breath will help you do that. So that's my eucalyptus oil teaching. We will move on to our next oil. Thank you.